In our journey through the CIA's secret history, we've seen coups, assassinations, and decade-long wars of destabilization. But in the 1980s, under a charismatic president and his swashbuckling spy chief, the agency embarked on its most audacious and illegal operation yet. It was a scheme so vast and so secret that it involved selling missiles to America's sworn enemy, funneling the profits to a proxy army in Central America, and creating an off-the-books government accountable to no one. This was a government within a government, a secret state run out of the White House basement. This is the story of the Iran-Contra Affair. It's the story of how the CIA, under Director William Casey, created a rogue enterprise that nearly destroyed the presidency of Ronald Reagan. Using Tim Weiner's Legacy of Ashes and the official investigation reports, we will untangle the web of secret arms deals, drug money, and covert wars that defined the scandal. This wasn't just another covert operation. It was the culmination of everything the CIA had learned since its creation: how to lie to Congress, how to manipulate the public, and how to operate completely outside the law. By the end of this video, you will understand that Iran-Contra wasn't the work of a few rogue actors. It was the logical endpoint of a 40-year history of unchecked secret power, a crisis that exposed the dark heart of America's shadow government. If you believe that understanding these hidden strategies is essential to holding power accountable, then support our mission. Like this video, subscribe to Strategy Codex, and join the debate in the comments below. Our story begins with the election of Ronald Reagan in 1980 and his appointment of William J. Casey as Director of Central Intelligence. Casey was unlike any director before him. He was a Wall Street buccaneer, a veteran of the OSS in World War II, and a true believer in the fight against communism. As his deputy Bob Gates said, Casey's view was that in a war against a totalitarian power, there were no holds barred. Where everything went, he was a man who, according to future FBI Director William Webster, tended to feel the constraints of the law. He wanted a way out of them. Reagan gave him that way out. Casey was given cabinet rank and the power to see the president in private. He wasn't just going to execute foreign policy, he was going to make it. Casey's primary obsession was Central America. In 1979, the leftist Sandinista movement had overthrown the brutal US-backed Somoza dictatorship in Nicaragua. For Casey and Reagan, the Sandinistas were a communist beachhead in America's backyard, a proxy for Cuba and the Soviet Union. Casey made a promise to the president in the dark of night: "I'll take care of Central America. Just leave it to me." He turned the small-scale political action programs of the Carter years into a full-blown paramilitary war. In March 1981, Reagan signed a secret finding authorizing the CIA to arm and train a proxy army to fight the Sandinistas. This army became known as the Contras. The official story sold to Congress was that the goal was to stop the flow of arms from Nicaragua to leftist rebels in El Salvador. This was a lie. As Weiner makes clear, the real plan was always regime change. The CIA's own analysts repeatedly told Casey that the Contras had no popular support and could not win. Casey ignored them, buried their reports, and told Reagan that his little army could take Nicaragua by storm. He was building a war based on his own ideology, not on intelligence. By 1982, the CIA's secret war in Nicaragua was escalating. The agency was mining Nicaraguan harbors, blowing up bridges, and directing the Contras from bases in Honduras. The war was becoming less and less secret, and Congress was getting nervous. The House Intelligence Committee, led by Chairman Edward Boland, began to push back. They saw a runaway agency dragging the United States into another Vietnam. In December 1982, Congress passed the first Boland Amendment. It was a compromise, prohibiting the CIA from using its funds for the purpose of overthrowing the Nicaraguan government. Casey and the CIA simply ignored it. They continued the war, claiming their purpose was interdiction, not overthrow. For 2 years, the CIA played a cat-and-mouse game with Congress, stretching the law to its breaking point. But in October 1984, after it was revealed that the CIA had produced a manual for the Contras that advocated political assassinations, Congress had had enough. They passed a new, much stricter Boland Amendment. This one was ironclad. It banned any U.S. intelligence agency from spending any funds to support directly or indirectly military or paramilitary operations in Nicaragua. The secret war was, by law, supposed to be over. For Bill Casey, it was just time to take it deeper underground. With the CIA's money cut off, the Reagan administration needed a new way to fund their beloved Contras. The answer came from a zealous Marine lieutenant colonel working at the National Security Council, Oliver North. North, with Casey's blessing, created what he called the Enterprise, a completely off-the-books private covert action network. They solicited secret donations from foreign governments like Saudi Arabia and from wealthy right-wing donors in the United States. They were running a private foreign policy, accountable to no one, but they needed more money. And that's where the other side of the scandal comes in: Iran. In 1979, the Iranian Revolution had brought the Ayatollah Khomeini to power, and Iran became America's #1 enemy. They held 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. Reagan had sworn never to negotiate with terrorists. But by 1985, several more Americans had been taken hostage in Lebanon by Hezbollah, a terrorist group with close ties to Iran. The administration was desperate to get them back. An opportunity arose. The United States began a top-secret illegal operation to sell advanced anti-tank and anti-aircraft missiles to Iran, in direct violation of its own arms embargo and its public policy of never dealing with terrorists. The hope was that a grateful Iran would use its influence to free the American hostages. This is where the two secret operations, Iran and the Contras, merged into one catastrophic scandal. Oliver North and his co-conspirators had a brilliant illegal idea. They would overcharge the Iranians for the missiles and use the profits, the diversion, to fund the Contras in Nicaragua. It was the perfect black ops money laundering scheme. They were using money from America's sworn enemy to fund a secret army that Congress had explicitly forbidden them to support. It was a conspiracy born in the shadows of the National Security Council with the full knowledge and support of CIA Director Casey. For over a year, this secret government flourished. North ran his global operation from his office in the White House using encrypted communication systems and a network of shady arms dealers, drug traffickers, and mercenaries. They sold thousands of missiles to Iran, and while a few hostages were released, more were taken. The arms for hostages deal was a failure, but the money kept flowing to the Contras. The CIA was deeply involved. They provided the logistical support, the planes, and the personnel to keep the secret supply line running. They were breaking the very law that was written to restrain them. In October 1986, the House of Cards began to collapse. A cargo plane carrying weapons for the Contras was shot down over Nicaragua. The lone surviving crew member, an American named Eugene Hasenfuss, was captured. He told his captors that he was working for the CIA. A few weeks later, a Lebanese magazine published the details of the secret arms sales to Iran. The scandal exploded into public view. At first, the Reagan administration denied everything. President Reagan went on national television and stated flatly, "We did not, I repeat, did not trade weapons or anything else for hostages." It was a lie that would come to haunt him. As the story unraveled, it became clear that the administration was engaged in a massive cover-up. Oliver North and his secretary, Fawn Hall, began a frantic late-night shredding party, destroying thousands of documents that detailed the illegal operation. But they missed a few. Investigators found the memos that described the diversion of funds from the Iran arms sales to the Contras. The scandal had a name: Iran-Contra. The fallout was immense. A special prosecutor was appointed, and Congress held dramatic televised hearings in the summer of 1987. Oliver North, in his Marine uniform, became a folk hero to some, testifying for days about his patriotic motives. but the evidence was overwhelming. 14 administration officials were indicted, including the Secretary of Defense. 11 were convicted. The scandal reached the very top. The central question was, what did President Reagan know, and when did he know it? Reagan claimed he couldn't recall key details, protecting himself with a shield of plausible deniability. The final report of the investigation concluded that Reagan had allowed a culture of secrecy and lawlessness to thrive, creating the conditions for the scandal. And what about the architect of the secret war, William Casey? Just as the investigation was closing in, he collapsed from a seizure caused by a brain tumor. He resigned as DCY and died a few months later, taking his secrets to the grave. In his final days, he was interviewed by Bob Woodward of the Washington Post. When Woodward asked him if he knew about the diversion of funds, Casey, barely able to speak, reportedly nodded his head. Yes. Iran-Contra was more than just a scandal. It was a constitutional crisis. It was the story of a secret government funded by illegal arms sales that waged a war forbidden by Congress. It was the ultimate expression of the imperial presidency and a CIA that believed it was above the law. The affair exposed the dangers of unchecked covert action and left a deep scar on America's trust in its own government. It was the ghost of Guatemala, the ghost of Chile, coming home to haunt the White House itself. If you want to understand the strategies that drive the modern world, make sure you subscribe to Strategy Codex and hit the notification bell. In our next video, we'll examine the CIA's role in the First Gulf War and the hunt for Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction, a story of intelligence failure that would lead America into another disastrous war. Subscribe so you don't miss the final chapter in our series. Keep questioning and keep seeking the truth.